Okay, welcome to Healing and Transformation, Class 2. A quick review from last week. We talked about healing and transformation as a journey of looking at the healing process as an opportunity to discover more of who we are, and more of what there is to bring to this process. Today, I want to talk about healing the wound of fragmentation and fear. And I look at fragmentation, the separation of mind from body, as a wounded state. Understand that when the mind separates, even by a small degree or percentage from the body, it takes vital energy with it. In Tai Chi, we say mind leads energy. Wherever the mind goes, energy follows. So when we focus outside of the body into the near or distant future, and we bring our full attention to those what if narratives, our energy, our vital life force, call it chi or prana, and our spirit follows the mind into wherever it is traveling to. So, like if I were to cut myself and bleed, I would be losing vital energy through the loss of blood. The same thing happens energetically when the mind separates from the body by degrees and for periods of time. So if I'm spending a lot of time outside of myself, focusing on the future or the past, my energy is slowly being depleted and drained. And this is often why people who work at an office on a computer, whose focus is out, constantly in the computer or constantly on the phone with clients, they're exhausted by the end of the day. And it's not like they've been exerting extreme physical effort. It is really the process of energy lost through that fragmentation or that separation. So the very act of bringing the mind back into the body in alignment, in a state of integrity, for me is basic, essential healing practice. Healing is energy dependent. If I am depleted because I've been sick for a while or I've been in pain for quite some time, which is exhausting, I need energy. I need as much energy as I can get, and good quality energy, for the repair process of the body. If I'm constantly focusing outside and away from myself, I am constantly depleting myself. And so the healing process tends to stall or slow down simply because I don't have enough energy, or the quality of energy that I am using isn't conducive to the regeneration process. So if I'm embodying a lot of fear, sadness, anxiety, anger, those negative emotions tend to um, create resistance and slow down the healing process of the body. Bringing the mind back to center using the four connections: breath, center, ground, space. If I focus on that and I'm breathing, I'm coming into alignment, creating a state of integrity of mind, body, spirit, energy. And that state of alignment and integrity is the most powerful state that we can create. It's in that state, in the present space and time, that we have access to not only our personal energy, but all the energy that exists in the world, in the universe. When you fragment, you cut yourself off from that easy access. In addition, when you are in a state of alignment and integrity, you can also access your internal resources much more easily, much quicker and freely. So if you're studying for a test and you've put the work and the time in, and you sit down to take the test, if you're fragmented because you're focusing on the near future of passing the test and getting a good grade, there's going to be this disconnect between the mind, the body, and your easy access to all that information that you have been studying. And it's not uncommon to sit down and go, oh my God, I don't remember anything. And I'm starting to panic. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's simply because you're not in alignment. So being in alignment and in integrity has many, many benefits. Ideally, we would like to function, operate, and perform in that state the majority of our time. When we get ill or injured, even surgery is an injury, and there's pain, there's discomfort, we often create expectations about what we would like to have happen. We project into the near future of getting back on our feet and getting back to normal, what I spoke about last class. And that creates that fragmentation. It slows the process down. When you're in pain, it is natural to not to want to be in your body. If your body is having to process a fair amount of pain on a continuous basis. So leaving the body is a natural thing to do. It desensitizes you so that you're not present to feel all of that discomfort. Watching television, listening to music, reading a book, those are all ways of creating a mild degree of fragmentation in order to desensitize the body so that you can tolerate the pain much easier. It's a strategy that people resort to instinctively and don't really understand what they're doing, but they just know that if I watch television while I'm in pain, I don't think about it as much. I don't feel it as much. And it's okay. It's a good strategy if you've got a long-term healing process, you're in the beginning stages, and there is discomfort and pain. I don't think that it's a bad idea at all. It's better for you than taking heavy painkillers. Combining the two is also fine if that is what is needed until such point in time when the body has been able to process and repair, and the natural lessening of pain has reached the point where you don't need as much or any pain medicine at all. So, in addition to that process, there's often a lot of fear, especially if you've had a sudden, shocking injury or illness. It is natural to begin to think about the future, what you're unable to do right now, how that might be affecting you economically or creatively, professionally, and we start to create anxiety and fear. about that. The thing about fear that I want you to understand is that the energy of fear creates resistance, tension, and can, in extreme cases, paralysis. So a mild degree of fear can be motivating and a little exciting. A moderate amount of fear creates tension and resistance, which makes any action or movement harder than it needs to be. And extreme fear creates this frozen state of paralysis. And if you are frozen, your energy is not moving, there's very little progress taking place in the journey of transformation. You are not in a state of fluid change. You're in a holding pattern. So how do we deal with the fear? The first thing is to understand that we generate fear within ourselves. We can also take in and absorb fear from other people. But for now, let's look at how we generate fear and how to deal with it. When we react to something fearfully, because we interpret it as a threat, such as, I've broken my leg, I can't go to work, I'm going to be behind on my workflow, and that's threatening to my job. I'm afraid I'm going to get fired if I can't keep up. So the fear energy is created through the emotional reaction based on our interpretation of our event or our state of being or the given circumstance. So we generate that just as we generate all of our emotional energies. But with fear, we generate fear and then we generate more and more fear every time we focus on the narrative, on the story, and react to it again and again. And we often build this energy up inside of us. And the more that we generate, the more we hold on to, the more intense it becomes. And what was in the beginning just a mild degree becomes quite severe and intense and can happen very quickly. And now I'm just getting tense and anxious and I'm on the verge of panic. Not helpful. It's not going to help your healing process. It's not going to help you think clearly about the tasks that you need to do in order to do your work if you can still work in that state. So the first thing to do is to discharge and empty the body of the charge of fear. And we do that with the waterfall image, energy flowing down from above like you're sitting in a waterfall, but it's flowing in through your head, through your body, out through your feet. Soften, smile, breathe, and intend to be gentle and kind with yourself. This is a nurturing practice and process, healing and transformation. The more you nurture this process, the faster it goes and the less difficulty. If I'm in resistance to it, it slows down and then all sorts of complications begin to arise. So soften, smile, breathe, receive the energy with the force of gravity. Visualize it as clearly as you can. Give it color, dimension, sound. Direct it down and out through the body and into the ground. In a short period of time, as you continue to breathe, you will notice that that feeling of fear begins to lessen in intensity quite quickly. Okay? Because you are emptying the vessel of your body of that. Now, once you have cleared that energy out, you have to stop making more of the same. And the way to do that is to stop focusing on and redescribing your fearful narratives, those fearful stories, where suddenly you've emptied your body of the charge and you feel calmer and more present. And then the thought and the narrative comes back in, oh my God, I can't go to work again. And now the cycle starts all over. I interpret that as a threat to my job. I react fearfully. I generate the charge inside my body. I embody it. And that charge, depending upon its intensity, is either creating a mild degree or a severe degree of tension, resistance, and or paralysis. So it's important to know how to respond to our own creative energies and process. We create our own feelings out of nothing, out of our imagination, really. How it's all based on how we interpret reality and then react to it based on our beliefs and whatever filters we're going to use in our perception. So being gentle and kind with oneself is also a way to neutralize and transform fear. If it's a mild to moderate degree of fear, you can actually transform it. That means you don't have to empty it all out of your body. This is like an alchemical process, all right? Think about a child who falls and stubs their knee, and they're upset, and they're crying, and they're looking at their knee, and maybe it's bleeding a little bit. Now they start imagining how horrible this is, and they start crying even louder. You step in as the adult, and you look at them in the eyes, and instead of fear in your eyes, you have a gentle smile, and you look down at their knee, and you look at them in the eye again. You say, "You're okay. You're okay. You're going to be just fine." And they immediately pause because they have to think now. Wow, I was just thinking this was a horrible situation, but my loving adult caregiver is saying, I'm going to be okay. So now I'm not reacting as strongly. The child is not reacting with the same degree and intensity as they were before. But every time they look at their knee, it starts again because they imagine the worst case scenario. And by the way, it will amplify the pain. It will amplify the sensation, the intensity of that reaction. So you, the loving, caring adult, sees this in the child and you distract them. You begin to entertain them. And you might say, wow, that's a beautiful bruise you're going to have there. That's going to be something to show all your friends, right? And then they start thinking about that, like, wow, show and tell. Okay, that could be cool. And then you start, making light of the situation, like, you look like Superman running down there, and then you dove in the air and you fell. And I thought for a second there, like you tackled the villain. And now the child's imagination starts to take over, and instead of focusing on a fearful narrative, they're focusing on a heroic narrative. They're focusing on how interesting and entertaining this is. And in that moment, the energies begin to transform. They don't have to cry for a half an hour. They suddenly, of their own will and imagination, are turning the situation around based upon how they choose to perceive it. And the energy of fear itself, if it's not too intense, transforms from fear to excitement, to curiosity, to a degree of pride and self-ownership. It can be pretty much anything. If you, the adult, can hold that space of gentleness, of kindness, of loving attention, and really just embrace them with that, in a very short time, your energy and their energy begin to vibrate kind of at the same level. And they're feeling that loving, gentle kindness as well. That is a form of alchemy. Now, if you can do that with a child, you can do it with yourself. And that is to focus, give yourself that attention, that loving intention, to be gentle, to be kind. Fear dissolves and neutralizes in the face of loving kindness and gentleness. It's really hard to be afraid when you're being gentle and kind with yourself at the same time. So we use that kind of like the antidote to the fear. And it's very effective when the fear is in its mild degree of intensity. It takes a little more work when it's moderate, and it's going to take a lot of work when it's intense. You're going to have to be a true master of alchemy to transform intense fear. So in that instance, the strategy is to discharge and empty the vessel and bring the level down. And that can be anger too. It can be sadness. It can be any emotional charge that is resonating at a very high level of intensity. My strategy is bring it down first, empty it out, let out some steam so that you're calmer. And now that energy is more manageable, either to continue to discharge or to begin to transform. But you also have to know what energies to use based on the energy that's present. And we can get into that a little bit later. But going back to healing that wound of fragmentation simply by aligning and integrating your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and imaginative bodies, bringing them all together in a present space-time. Once that happens, you will notice that the pain subsides, the fear subsides, the anxiety begins to lessen, the tension begins to lessen. When you fragment mind from body, your body tightens up. It's your body's instinctive wisdom that is giving you a physical signal, tension, to say, hey, come back. And the moment the mind comes back, the body relaxes again. Because your mind is like, you're like the captain of your ship. Your body is your vessel. And if you, the captain, abandon your ship and go traveling off away, the crew of the ship become very anxious because there's no leader. There's no clear direction being given. The moment you come back into your body, the captain's back on the ship, ready to give clear directions. The crew of the ship relax, they calm down, and they're waiting for the next order. So it's one way to look at that process. If you are in an extreme or intense state of fear, first thing you have to do is align and integrate in the present. Step 2, begin to discharge and empty the vessel of as much of that as you can by breathing, using the waterfall image of directing the energy down. Energy will move in whatever direction you imagine. It will move and follow your focus, your attention, your mind. If you can imagine it moving clearly down and out through your body, it will. It happens. Once you have lessened the intensity, now we want to nurture the energy. We want to cultivate positive energy, loving kindness, gentleness, generosity, curiosity, all those energies. And I spoke about the creative process and the creative energy. It's a very high vibration and quality of energy that the body can metabolize and use in the regeneration process, the healing process. Now, I want to say a word about fear coming from others. Excuse me. It's not uncommon, and I've seen it because I've worked in hospitals. I've worked with clients in hospitals many, many times, either post-surgery or post treatment of some kind, or just general illness. Usually, when you're in that state, you are in a depleted state. Your energy's low. You've been through some pain, you've been through some uh, frightening experiences, perhaps, and now you need to mend and regenerate. Your loved ones come in to the room, and with all good intentions and smiles on their faces, they are projecting their fear, their anxiety right at you, because in their mind, they're afraid of what might happen, what if scenario, or a worst case scenario, or they just don't like being in the hospital because it's not a pleasant place for most people. So now you are in a weakened state. They walk in with their fear, and you instinctively sense and feel that. And it kicks in your energetic immune defense system, and you try to mobilize your energy to create a protective energy field, a force field, to keep their energy of fear at bay, to keep it from infecting you and from you absorbing it. This is not an easy thing to do when you're in a weakened, depleted state. So working with people and their families for 20, 30 years at least, watching this situation again in the hospital. If I'm working with a client and one of their friends or family walk in and I sense that fear, I will stand up and I will guide them out of the room. And I will just say, hey, great that you're here. But I want you to understand that you need to neutralize some of this fear that you're walking in with, or anger or sadness, so that your loved one does not have to try and protect themselves from that or attempt to process that energy for you. And when I point it out, people usually tune in and they go, oh my God, yeah, I didn't realize that I was embodying that. I'm just worried for my friend, or I just had a, run in with somebody trying to find a parking spot and I'm a little upset. Okay, take a moment to calm down and then come back into the room. I also tell my client to tell all of their friends and loved ones, if you're going to visit me, please take a moment to empty yourself of whatever negative charges of fear, anger, or sadness you might be holding on to, because I need the highest quality of energy in your presence. I need you to be accepting of my situation, loving, gentle, kind. That is the energy that I need to heal. In Tibetan medicine, there is a saying, please do not pray for me unless you know how. And this is an interesting thing. Often we'll get a message, send healing prayers to my friend or my loved one. They're in a bad state. They're in critical care. Please be aware that what they need is just pure love light energy. They do not need your worry, your fear, your sadness, the result of your concern. Okay, this takes a moment. You have to check in and you have to like drop that and say, okay, I'm just going to visualize my friend or my loved one, and I'm sending them just pure love and light, divine energy. That is all they need. And if they can receive that multiplied by however many people are focusing on them, such as in a prayer circle, they're going to receive high octane, pure light and love energy. We instinctively know how to use it. We can take that energy into our bodies and metabolize it and put it to work right away. And the more of that quality of energy we receive and generate within ourselves, the faster the healing process goes because it's energy dependent. So sometimes I'll visit someone in the hospital or they're suffering a healing crisis, and I'll see that they're in such a negative state, a negative point of view, that before we can begin anything, we have to acknowledge that. Yeah, you look pretty worried, you're pretty sad, you're kind of pissed off. Okay, that's fine. You're allowed to do that, but only for about another 2 minutes. Now, then we have to get to work. And that work requires that you acknowledge that negative energy, how you created it, and that you tend to that first. Discharge and empty it, stop making more, set the health boundary of only highest love and light energy coming in from loved ones and friends, and then begin this process of exploration and discovery through the journey of transformation. It makes a big difference. So, aligning into the present using the four connections: breath, center, ground, and space. I talked about it in the last class, and I mention it pretty much in every class because it is the foundation of my practice, stress defense practice. Soften, smile, breathe, and receive the highest love and light. Make that a command. You are only willing to receive the highest vibration and quality of energy. You are not available. When you set that intention, you program your energy field to only allow that to come in. Anything else gets stopped at the periphery of your energy field. Soften, smile, breathe, receive, acknowledge, accept, and allow. To be able to acknowledge and accept where you are now is really the first step and probably the most challenging. Hey, if you've been in an accident and you're pretty beat up and you've got some serious injuries, it's difficult to acknowledge and accept that. It's natural to want to resist that and say, no, 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 this can't be. I don't want this. But understand, until you accept the truth of reality, the process moves very slowly, if at all. The more you resist, the more tension you create, the harder it is to flow easily and effortlessly into a new state of normal, a new state of being. So acceptance really is the foundation. It is the key. Having a nurturing practice is really important. Um, I use Reiki and Rei Gong. Rei Gong is a practice I created over 20 years ago, initially for cancer patients and post-surgical patients that I worked with. And it's based on Reiki and Qigong, Rei Gong. There are some other tools and techniques embedded in this practice, but it's very simple. It's about acknowledging that you are the primary healthcare provider, first and foremost. You take command and take charge of your state of being, of what energies you create, and of the space around you by maintaining healthy boundaries. And then you do your practice. That practice includes aligning and integrating and acknowledging, accepting, allowing, staying present, holding that neutral space in the heart, and then in that space, creating gentle kindness, self-acceptance, self-love, creativity. Now the process can begin the journey of transformation with less interference, filtering, or resistance. Okay? Now, the practice of placing hands on the body. Reiki is a Japanese healing modality. It's really effective, very popular. The premise of it is that you are going to become a fluid channel, a vessel, to receive Reiki energy, which translates to universal energy. It is just pure energy, a very high quality, high frequency. You bring it into your heart, you channel it through your heart to your hands, and out of your hands back into your own body, wherever you place your hand. That's the basic premise of Reiki. Now, you can go to a Reiki practitioner who serves as the channel. It's like going to the gas pump, in which they are going to send energy through them into you. It's important to understand that they are not giving you their personal energy. They are serving as a channel for this energy to flow through them. Much needed energy for you in your healing process. But you can also do this with yourself. You can give and receive to yourself. One issue to be aware of: some people are offered the energy, but do not allow themselves to receive it. Often because they have a belief of some kind, and there can be many, that prohibit or restrict their ability to receive, such as, well, I don't deserve this. And if you believe that you don't deserve it, you will not allow yourself to receive it. And this is true with some people who are given medicines and treatments that for some reason are not effective for them. And sometimes it's because they are holding that belief that they don't deserve to heal. They don't deserve to enjoy themselves or be happy. Well, there's plenty of that in the world, no doubt. The point is to examine your beliefs. Any belief that might create resistance or inhibit your ability to receive that energy, either from another person or from yourself. Imagine comforting and soothing a child who fell down and hurt their knee. And for most children, they're very willing and receptive. They'll take that. You hold them, you hug them, you rock them. They love that. Yes, yes, yes. Give me more, give me more, give me more. That is such a healing process. Okay? But that same adult might not allow another to do the same for them. And if that's true, they're probably not going to allow themselves to receive it from themselves either. So if you have that belief, you have to acknowledge it and deprogram it, turn it off, delete it, flip it to the other side. I do deserve this. I give myself permission to receive what I need for this healing process, to receive the energy, to receive the treatment, whatever that might be. Some of the fear about receiving is this instinctive knowledge that we all possess, that if we allow ourselves to open up and receive this gift, whatever it might be, it is going to change and alter us in some fashion. We will change. That is what happens when you open up and you receive. And for some people, the prospect of the unknown, of that type of change, creates the fear that stops them from receiving it. You can look at it in several ways. I'm going to open myself up and receive this energy, and I know it's going to affect me and change me in ways that I might not yet understand. But you know what? I'm willing to go for the ride. I'm willing to go for the journey and see what I discover. That's my point of view. That's my perspective in that process. And along the way, if I encounter negative or toxic energy, I don't let it in. No. I trust my instincts. If the energy is pure and given in good intention and it's healthy for me, yes, permission granted, come on in, affect me, change me, let's go on the journey. If it's not, no, thank you. I don't need that. I don't need more negativity. So now I want to give you just a very simple hands-on healing practice. It's kind of like a condensed version of Rei Gong and Reiki. I'm going to begin by rubbing your hands together and breathing into your hands. Warm them up. And now separate your hands and keep breathing into them and imagine a ball of light beginning to form between your hands. It's getting brighter and brighter. And now imagine that same energy is beginning to grow in your own heart center as you breathe. See the two. Your heart is growing lighter and brighter in that energy, and so is the energy between your hands. Now the energy from your heart flows down your arms to your hands and out your hands, and it begins to feed the ball of energy between your hands. And you can play with this. Separate your hands, bring them close together. You will feel almost a magnetic pulse or energy there. And now slowly compress the ball into your hands as you bring them together. Imagine your hands glowing brightly, bright gold light, the highest resonance of healing light. Your hands are now a radiatory force of energy. As long as they're connected to your heart is open, and you are receiving that energy from your higher self, your greater soul, light consciousness. Rub your hands together again, breathe. Now we're going to go through the chakra system. These are like the energy batteries of the energy body. I'm going to bring it to the top of my head. If you are female dominant, place your right hand on top of your left. If you are male dominant, place your left hand on top of your right. And now soften, smile, breathe. Open the heart. Imagine the energy flowing from your heart through your arms to your hands and into your crown chakra. I imagine my crown chakra as bright gold, a golden crown. In the Hindu tradition, it is violet, the color that they use. It doesn't matter. Whatever color you choose is fine. Just feed it, nurture it with loving, gentle kindness, attention, and intention. Take a deep breath. And now bring your hands down to your forehead, what we call the third eye chakra. And feed and nurture your third eye chakra. It can be indigo, violet, purple, however you choose to see it. Take 3 breaths into the heart, out the hands, into your own body. Give yourself permission to receive it. Again, one more time. Bring the hands down to the throat chakra. Now you can place them on your body or a few inches away. It's up to you. Soften, smile, breathe and receive through the heart, express through your hands, receive into your own throat. The color is blue. Imagine a bright blue ball of light getting brighter, nurturing the energy. Bring the hands down to the center of the chest, the center of the heart chakra. The color is green, and we use these colors to enhance our focus, our intention, and our imagination. Breathe. It's growing brighter and brighter with every breath. Beautiful emerald spring green. Bring it down to the solar plexus. It's just below your sternum. The color is yellow, sunflower yellow. Big, full, joyful breaths. The joy of receiving the gift of pure energy. Again, breathe with a sense of gratitude for receiving. One more time. Good. Down to the belly button, the navel energy center, the navel chakra. The color is orange. Big, beautiful breath. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me this energy, giving the energy to myself, creating it within myself and receiving it. One more breath. And now the base of the body, the root chakra, red, the pelvic bowl, beautiful ruby red, fire red. Big breath. It's like you're blowing on a gentle fire, and every time you do, it gets a little brighter, a little larger. Breathe. One more time. Good. And now place your hands on your thighs. You can close your eyes or keep them open. And imagine the waterfall energy of light coming down. Imagine the sun above your head. Feel the warmth, the rays of the sun bathing your body on the outside and flowing into your body, bathing every cell in your body as you breathe. Imagine every cell in your body is a battery. It's a rechargeable battery. And we are charging up our cellular batteries right now with every breath, holding the space for that beautiful sunlight, divine light, to energize every cell in the body. Extend roots into the ground so that you can continue to flow easily and effortlessly and discharge any negative or toxic energies out of the body. Allow the earth to transform it. Big breath. Good. And now the energy of the earth rises up through your roots into your body as well, comes all the way up through your central line, out through your top of your head, like a beautiful water fountain. And now imagine this water fountain on a sunny day, sparkling, clear, shimmering energy and light. We are a combination of these energies. The yang energy of the sun, the yin energy of the earth, they are flowing through us all the time. We can block them, we can disconnect from them, or we can open and receive them. And that is basic to my Qigong practice, which is breathing energy practice. Take 3 full breaths. Again. And one more time. Very good. Okay, so we covered some territory today of deepening our understanding of healing and transformation, of healing the wound of fragmentation and fear, of taking charge of our process by establishing a healthy boundary for our friends and loved ones, so that when they come into our personal space, they come in with an awareness of their energy and bring the gift of gentle, loving kindness to us as we need it, or vice versa if you are visiting a loved one who is in need of that energy as well. Understanding that when we pray for someone or we send them loving thoughts, we want to make sure they're loving thoughts, not fearful thoughts. We want to send loving energy, not angry energy, not sad energy. And if you're having difficulty with that process, do your friend a favor and don't focus on them until you can create a more balanced, harmonious state of integrity within yourself first. When dealing with negative people, I find that it is helpful to frame your boundaries as healthy or unhealthy. If someone is negative around you, say, I see you're not feeling too well or you're very upset, I don't want to take that on. I can't take that on right now, so I'm going to remove myself. I'm going to walk away. We'll get back together later. Or would you like to take a few moments to ground yourself so that you're not discharging or dumping onto me, because it's not healthy for me. It's also not healthy for you. It's not healthy for our relationship. So when you make that clear distinction of healthy versus unhealthy, most people, the majority of people that I find, receive that with the intention that it is given. And they will apologize or step back or take a moment and say, you're right, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. I don't want you to take that on. Let me just go for a walk or step out of the room for a moment or two and recompose myself. So I find that very helpful in preserving the integrity of the space and of your personal energy. My Gong practice is available as a full practice video that comes with a PDF booklet that details the practice. It's for purchase on my website at stressdefense.com. It's about a 30-minute practice, and it entails all the different tools that I have put together to create a seamless healing practice. So that's available. Until then, I wish you well. I send you all love and light of the highest frequency, and I will see you next time. Thank you.